been shattered by the energy. There might be some secrets hidden for Null and Yusha. In the next moment, with a gust of wind, 6 figures jumped down from the corridor. They were Granny Rom, the vicious woman, and their fellows. Granny Rom was an old woman in her 50s, with a fat face and a strong body. Under her broom-shaped eyebrows, her small eyes were S-H-I, clustering fiercely. The other 4 old women beside her were also dressed the same as her, all of whom were fierce women in soft armor. The chief was a young girl of 15 or 16 years old wearing jewelry. She had a pretty face, but she looked indifferent. Her eyebrows were full of hostility. Obviously, she was spoiled and lawless. Otherwise, those vicious and indifferent words wouldn't come out of her mouth. People in the inn seemed to have realized something and immediately quieted down to eat. Apparently, they were extremely afraid of these women. You saved these 2 B-I-T-C-D's. Are you their master? The gleam in Granny Rom's eyes became vicious. She walked to the table and stared at Ding Hao with a sneer. Brother Ding, we didn't do it on purpose. Null and Chu was so anxious that she was about to cry. She said, my brother jogged her accidentally. He didn't do it deliberately. Ding Hao smiled. He pointed to the seat next to him and said, it's a trivial matter and not worth worrying about it. Just sit down and eat something first. Null and Chu was startled. When she saw Ding Hao's familiar warm smile, the panic and fear in her heart disappeared immediately. All she could feel was an unprecedented peace. She lowered her head and pulled Null and Yusha, who had become silly again, to sit on the bench next to Ding Hao. Your hat, Chu's completely infuriated Granny Rom. The tough old woman was stunned for a moment. Then she laughed coldly, pointing at Ding Hao and scolding, a trivial matter. Hey, little guy, I'm afraid that you don't know who you have provoked. How dare you S-H-I plus L them. You can't survive today. Slap. All of a sudden, a loud and clear slap was heard in the quiet lobby. A stout figure was blasted and flew backward like a scarecrow hit by a siege hammer. His broken yellow teeth with blood spurted out of his mouth. It was exactly Granny Rom. Before the fierce and vicious old woman could finish her words, she was slapped by Ding Hao as if she were an annoying fly. She could not even resist and was instantly blown off. Bang. Granny Rom flew out of the window and hit the wall outside, leaving a fat human-shaped mark on it. Then, she slowly slid down the wall and slumped to the floor on the street like a dead dog. The entire lobby of the inn was in dead silence. People all gasped at the scene. Many people stared at Ding Hao as if they had seen a ghost. They never expected that this young gentleman would be so fierce and powerful. With Granny Rom's strength, she has actually been given a crust, H-I plus NG glow. Those people with ulterior motives who had seen Ding Hao's extravagance now all lowered their heads. Cold sweat broke out on their back. Fortunately, they had not made any move at that time. Otherwise, they would go through what Granny had suffered and lie on the street like dead dogs. You, the vicious and arrogant girl recovered from the shock of the wilderness. She pointed at Ding Hao and said angrily, how dare you hit my people? Do you know? Slap. It was another sound of a slap. This time, it was the vicious and arrogant girl who was blasted and flew backward. Ding Hao didn't show any mercy to her although she was extremely beautiful. After a clear slap, as A-M-U-F, blood sound came, the girl was slapped out of the window and hit the street wall. Half of her cheek was as swollen as steam buns, and her teeth were broken. She just fainted on the street. This time, everyone in the lobby of the inn was so shocked that their mouths were wide open. Everyone was dumbfounded. In an instant, an expression flashed through everyone's mind, cruelly doing harm to a beauty. This gentle and handsome young man really had a heart of stone. Such a ravis, H-I plus NG and flawless beauty. He never showed tenderness toward women, yet he really had the heart to strike her violently. He just slapped her away like swatting a fly. How dare you hit my young miss? One of the remaining 4 shrews roared like a hen that had laid eggs. Ding Hao raised his eyebrows and said calmly, the 4 also wants to be blown off. The shrew immediately stopped shouting and she looked at Ding Hao in panic. Get out of here. Ding Hao waved his hand impatiently. The 4 shrews, who had been arrogant and domineering before, left the lobby miserably like defeated dogs. They helped the fainted girl and Granny Rom outside to sit up, separated the crowd, and left, not leaving even a word of courtesy. Ding Hao smiled and said to Chu and her brother beside him, you must be hungry. Eat something first and go back to have a good rest. He was so benign that didn't seem to be the merciless man who had slapped the beautiful girl just now. The people in the inn looked at Ding Hao as if they were looking at a monster. There was no more noise in the inn. Those who were very close to Ding Hao's table all lowered their heads and did not even dare to make a sound while eating, for fear of attracting the attention of this devil. Many people also moved their tables and chairs secretly to stay further away from Ding Hao. Because regulars to the inn knew the tie of the vicious and indifferent woman just now. They knew that things were not over yet. Soon, someone would come to make trouble for Ding Hao. People were afraid that it would be troublesome if they got close to Ding Hao and were regarded as his companion. Ding Hao also noticed the abnormality of everyone. After thinking for a while, he figured out the reason. However, he didn't take it seriously. The noisy lobby quieted down. It was impossible to collect some information through people's discussions now. Ding Hao sighed in his heart and lowered his head to eat. Brother Ding, did I do something wrong? Null and Chu said apologetically. She was like a little lark that was still in shock. Null and Chu knew nothing of the world outside the ocean forest since she was born. Obviously, what happened just now had startled her. They are too domineering. It was not your fault. Ding Hao comforted Chu with a smile. Then he thought for a moment and said, well, from today on, I will teach you some martial arts skills. After all, it was a big world where the strong preyed on the weak. You have to be stronger to protect your brother so that no one dares to bully you. Null and Chu's eyes lit up and she immediately nodded. When they were making their way out of the ocean forest these days, Ding Hao's unparalleled strength had deeply shocked this innocent little girl. It would be great for her if she could learn something from Ding Hao. As they were talking, the owner of the inn walked to them hesitantly with a wry look on his face. He opened her mouth and was about to say something, but decided to hold his tongue because he was somewhat afraid. Ding Hao looked up at him and said with a smile, I know what you want to say. You want me to leave as soon as possible, right? If the woman returns with her helpers, we might tear down your inn when the fight begins. The owner of the inn smiled and immediately nodded like a chicken pecking rice. But it's too late. Ding Hao pointed to the street outside the window and said, they are already here. The owner of the inn was deeply shocked. When he looked in the direction Ding Hao was pointing, he could only see hundreds of soldiers in black soft armor coming aggressively from a distance. The chief was a strong shrew with a vicious and resentful face. It was exactly Granny Rom who had been slapped away before. Granny Rom was still arrogant. She shouted, it's right here. Besiege this inn. Don't let the villain go. The owner of the inn looked pale, and he began to tremble. Ding Hao wiped his mouth with a tissue and whispered something to Chu. The little girl hesitated for a moment and nodded obediently. She immediately stood up and returned back to the room with her brother along the stairs. Then Ding Hao stood up and patted the owner of the inn on the shoulder, saying, don't worry, I won't get you into trouble. Before Ding Hao finished his words, he had already shown up outside the inn and was standing on the steps of the door. All the people in the inn were gazing at Ding Hao as he went out. They didn't expect that Ding Hao would walk out instead of running away when he saw the black armored army come. Was he insane? Everyone knew that the black armored army represented the supreme G.O., D's palace. Did this young man want to fight against G.O., D's palace? Seeing Ding Hao, the eyes of Granny Rom revealed a look of grievance and venom. She shouted, how dare you take the initiative to come out? That's right. It's this villain who hurts the miss. Take him. Hearing the words, the black armored army behind her came to circle around Ding Hao. Supreme Emperor of Swords Chapter 851. You haven't learned a lesson online. Bestlikable.com. Chapter 851. You haven't learned a lesson. These soldiers were at least of the martial king realm, all holding spears in their hands. The chief was 3 captain-like soldiers with profound cultivation, all at the peak of the martial emperor realm. They looked grim and sullen with an evil aura surging around. Obviously, they were all experienced experts who had been tested by numerous battles. Such warriors who had come out of the H.E.L.L. battlefield had rich experience of fight and battle. They were much stronger than many sect disciples on the land of infinity. Hey, little V.A.S.T.A.R.D. Let's see where you can run to. Those who offend our miss will regret coming to this world. You're a dead man today. Granny Wrong took a step forward complacently. She was almost swearing at Ding Hao, pointing at his nose. It seems that you haven't learned a lesson. Ding Hao shook his head. He raised his hand and slapped her ruthlessly again. Darkness came over Granny Wrong's eyes. Her swollen face became numb again as if she had been hit by a giant hammer in the face. As she heard the sound of her cheekbones breaking, her eyes dulled and half of her face had caved in. She was blasted and flew backward again. She didn't even have time to scream. The three captains were all startled. When they tried to stop Ding Hao, Granny Wrong had already flown out and head into the wall on the street. They didn't know whether she was dead or alive. Ding Hao's strength was far beyond their imagination. With his strength, they could attempt the trajectory of the energy of his casual wave just now. The people inside the inn who were paying attention to the situation outside were shocked again. This young man was too audacious. How dare you? How dare you hurt people in the face of the Black Armored Army? The chief captain shouted. Clang, clang, clang. Hundreds of soldiers of the Black Armored Army immediately drew the spears and sabers from their sheaths and surrounded Ding Hao. Ding Hao smiled and said, for some mad dogs, if I don't teach them a lesson, they will bite people next time. Speaking of it, he looked at the three captains and said, soldiers of the Black Armored Army are the most loyal soldiers of the G.O.D's palace. It's your duty to guard the border and protect the people. It's really surprising that you would drag in so many soldiers for these shrews. Hearing what Ding Hao said, the captain was at a loss for words. Ding Hao's calmness, extraordinary temperament, and powerful strength made the three captains a little afraid, and they were secretly guessing Ding Hao's type. If he was really born in A.N. Ogatblay family of the G.O.D's palace, they could not afford to offend someone like him. They were startled and then one of the captains said gently, Sir, someone reported that you have injured the sixth miss of the city lord's mansion. The Black Armored Army can't stay aloof from the affair. Please come with us for investigation. It may be just a misunderstanding. Ding Hao smiled and said, fine. One Black Armored soldier next to him immediately took out a pair of handcuffs and shackles that were shackled with specially made inscriptions. Ding Hao looked at the three captains with a faint smile. One of the captains S.H.I. plus Baron suddenly turned around, shouting, B.A.S.T.A.R.D.S. Get out of here. How can you handcuff the N? Ogatblay young master. Then he turned to Ding Hao and said with a smile, military orders cannot be disobeyed. We have our duty and dare not practice favoritism. I hope you can cooperate with us and don't embarrass us. Ding Hao laughed and stretched out his hands to be handcuffed without saying anything. Crack. His hands were shackled with specially made inscriptions. The three captains breathed a sigh of relief. At the same time, they were thinking that if Ding Hao was really the descendant of A.N. Ogatblay family and G.O.D's palace, they would apologize sincerely later. However, they couldn't afford to care so much. The Black Armored Army ordered some soldiers to carry the unconscious Granny Wrong and took Ding Hao away. It was not until the Black Armored Army disappeared into the distant street that the people inside and outside the inn who had gathered around to watch the spectacle came back to life. He was brought away just like that. I thought that there would be a great battle. Someone was not satisfied. Another person sneered, idiot. Can't you figure out that the young man volunteered to go with the Black Armored Army? He doesn't look afraid at all. It seems that he doesn't even care about the sixth miss of the city lord's mansion at all. Could it be that he is a fearless master who believes that no one can injure him? Bulls, H.I. plus T. That young man has an outstanding temperament. Only those who have been in power for a long time have that kind of aura. In my opinion, he must be the son of a big shot in G.O.D's palace. If so, I'm afraid that everyone in the city lord's mansion will have to kneel down to apologize when they know the truth. Everyone was talking about Ding Hao. Discussions of the incident gradually disappeared. The inn owner, who thought he would fall on hard times, stood behind the counter for a while and felt a lingering fear in his heart. When he heard the discussions of the crowd, he suddenly remembered that the two and her brother were still in the inn. He would not dare to neglect them, so he sent a waiter to serve them. Unexpectedly, the waiter came back soon and said that the two distinguished guests had been in the room all the time and didn't let anyone in. The inn owner shook his head and had to give up. After Pa sing several illusionary formations along the winding road, Ding Hao was brought into the city lord's mansion and was detained in the cell of the city lord's mansion for the time being. The city lord's mansion was not small. It covered an area of 100 acres, with pavilions, rockeries, gardens, and waterfalls in it, which looked like a fairyland. However, along the way, Ding Hao could clearly feel that the guard inside the mansion seemed to be lax, but the mansion was actually heavily guarded. Countless sentry posts and traps were set up, and masters were guarding the mansion, making it an impenetrable fortress. There was an atmosphere of solemnity between heaven and earth. A large number of Black Armored Army soldiers patrolled back and forth. There was a sentry every 5 steps and a blockade every 10 steps. Ding Hao nodded secretly because this finding made him sure that his speculations may be correct. The three captains did not dare to neglect Ding Hao. They ordered the soldiers to prepare delicious food and drinks and immediately reported to their superiors. However, for some unknown reason, the three captains did not return after a long time, and the vicious sixth miss of the shrews around her did not come to the cell to interrogate Ding Hao. However, Ding Hao didn't care about anything. He set up a warning inscription formation around the cell. Later, he sat cross-legged on the bluestone board and began to circulate his chi to cultivate. In this world, the speed of Ding Hao's cultivation was amazing. He could cultivate faster and faster. In the past 2 months, Ding Hao had been cultivating while continuing his way. His chi cultivation had improved rapidly, and he had continuously entered several minor realms. At the moment, he had entered the dual meridian and 8-quartered martial emperor realm. Ding Hao felt that eating, breathing, and sleeping seemed to be a form of cultivation for him in this world. His strength was increasing automatically at all times. Ding Hao did not know whether other people who had come to this world from the land of infinity had the same cultivation speed as he did. About 6 hours had passed. Estot said away silently. Although he could not see what was going on outside the cell, judging from the time, he was sure that it must be midnight. Suddenly, a flurry of footsteps could be heard outside the cell. Then several people who seemed to be guards came in to change S.H.I. plus FTS. After an adjustment, 4 new guards stood behind the iron fences of inscription of the cell. They glanced at Ding Hao and began to talk. Hey, have you heard that the city lord is going to torture that devil woman again today? It's pitiful that a pretty young woman would be tortured like that. It's said that her body is about to be dissected, leaving only a skeleton. Her flesh was cut off by the city lord with knives. Nonsense. If so, wouldn't she have died already? What do you know? That devil woman is really powerful. It is said that she has an unparalleled recovery ability. Even if only broken bones were left on her body would completely recover in an instant as long as her head is not broken and her divine soul is not be destroyed. The reason why the city lord tortures the devil woman over and over again is that he wants to know this magical power. However, even if she had been tortured, she was unwilling to say a word. The lord sent by the G.O.D's palace will arrive tomorrow. If the city lord can't get this magical power before tomorrow, he will never have a second chance. These demon stars are all very strange. It is said that half a year ago when the first demon star reincarnated, G.O.D's palace sent masters to besiege and kill it. However, all the soldiers were killed and none of them came back alive. The guards surrounded the table under the torches and were still talking about it. Right at this moment, with the sound of the inscription formation mechanism, the big iron gate was slowly opened. A few strong shrews came in, surrounding the sixth miss of City Lord's mansion, who had been slapped away by Ding Hao in the lobby of the inn that day. Miss, he's here. Captain Mo and his men have verified that he is just a wandering warrior who doesn't belong to any sect. You can avenge now. Granny Rom, whose half face was still swollen, came to the fence and stared at Ding Hao like a viper. Are they finally here? Ding Hao opened his eyes. Boy, you didn't expect this to happen, did you? Sixth Mrs. Beautiful eyes were as sharp as a blade. She stared at Ding Hao and sneered. Where's the glory of your old days? If you fall into my hands, you will only be tortured. With that said, she waved her hand, ordering the guards to open the cell. Ding Hao's palm was handcuffed with inscriptions. Even he was an expert at the peak of the martial emperor realm, his chi cultivation had been completely suppressed. As a result, these women were not afraid of Ding Hao at all. With the clicking sound of the mechanism, the iron fence with inscriptions slowly rose. Prepare the torture devices, Granny Rom shouted in a cold voice. The guards replied, and soon dozens of torture devices with assorted blood smut were brought to the cell. They looked horrible and extremely gloomy. No one knew how many people had been tortured by these devices. Even the color had turned dark, all with a fishy smell. Some cracks of them were even filled with bones and white bones. When the torture devices were placed in the room, a ghastly and evil aura had surged up. Tonight, you will be serviced by all these torture devices. The sixth miss looked down at Ding Hao with a gloomy smile on her face. You'll watch your body being cut little by little, and you'll experience real pain and fear. She was waiting to see Ding Hao's look of shock and despair. Unfortunately, she was let down. Ding Hao stood up slowly, glanced at those torture devices, and then looked at Granny Rom who couldn't wait any longer. He said to her with a smile, it seems that you haven't learned a lesson yet. Supreme Emperor of Swords Chapter 852 Underground Hall Online, bestlightnovel.com. Chapter 852 Underground Hall. Hearing the words, learn a lesson, Granny Rom quivered and subconsciously took a few steps back. She didn't want to be beaten by Ding Hao anymore. However, in the next moment, when she saw the shackles on Ding Hao's hands, she suddenly came back to life and said with a smirk, you are the one who should learn a lesson, little b, A-S-T-A-R-D. Under the sir, you, M stances, how can you still be stubborn? You will regret what you have done. You can't escape from the shackles. The sixth miss seemed to have realized something as well and said to the guards, take another pair of shackles and circle his ankles so that he couldn't escape. Thinking of the strength Ding Hao displayed that day, the sixth miss was still a little worried. Ding Hao sneered. He did not intend to argue with these reckless women any longer, but their behaviors aroused Ding Hao's interest. After deliberating for a moment, he decided not to struggle, and he simply allowed the guards to put shackles on his ankles. The sixth miss was completely relived now. A grotesque and manic smile appeared on her beautiful face. She said, you won't escape tonight. Guards, torture him. Those shrews approached Ding Hao with a sneer. Among them, Granny Rom couldn't wait any longer. However, their smiles froze on their faces soon as if they had seen a ghost. In front of them, Ding Hao stretched himself, yawned, and then gently struggled with his hands. The inscription shackles that could suppress a master in the martial Grand Emperor realm were instantly broken like rags, and the inscription patterns on them dimmed. He rubbed the shackles in his hands as if he was kneading dough, kneaded them into a black iron ball, and threw it to the ground. Is that what you rely on? It's too fragile, Ding Hao said with a smile. In the eyes of the sixth miss and the shrews, Ding Hao's smile was like the grim smile of the dead. Oh, ho ho, ah, Granny Rom was scared out of her wits. When the voice was made from her throat subconsciously, her body began to tremble with fear. The city lord had invested a huge sum of money on inviting a 14 grandmaster to make these G.O.D. imprisoning shackles. How could they be crushed like dough? Oh my G.O.D. Is this young man a G.O.D.? Maybe you should be tortured by these devices. I think vicious women like you often use them to torture those innocent people. As Ding Hao took a step forward, the shackles on his ankles broke with a click. When the sixth miss came back to life, she looked pale. She turned into a stream of light and was about to escape. As Ding Hao waved his hand gently, an invisible force surged out. Although the sixth miss had escaped to the door, she was pulled back by the invisible force. She struggled in panic and reached out to grab the door frame, but it didn't work. Her nails had been cut off, and she still flew backward and fell at Ding Hao's feet. The other 5 shrews, including Granny Rom, screamed and rushed out crazily. It seems that your servants are not loyal. Ding Hao sneered and raised his hand. The 5 evil old women fell down to the ground like boards. They stumbled back and headed to each other, all screaming. In the blink of an eye, the remaining 4 guards were knocked unconscious by Ding Hao. He just planted a restriction formation in their bodies and threw them into the cell. Ding Hao glanced at the torture devices that had been set up. Oh, no, thinking that Ding Hao was going to torture her, the sixth miss was so scared that she screamed, and a stink came from her crotch. It turned out she was so scared that she peed her pants. When you're torturing people, you're hard-hearted. When it's your turn, you're scared out of your wits. People like you are really pitiful. Ding Hao raised his leg and destroyed her dantian. Then, Ding Hao crippled his cultivation of the other 5 wicked women in the same way. Except for the sixth miss, everyone else in the cell was slapped and fainted. He had already set up a soundproof formation in the cell before taking action so that he did not have to worry about being noticed by the people outside. After doing all that, he tidied up the cell, picked up the sixth miss like picking up a chicken, and asked, where did you detain the reincarnated devil woman? The sixth miss looked at Ding Hao desperately and said, are you her accomplice? Ding Hao sneered, I don't want to hear any nonsense. Will you let me go if I tell you? The sixth miss's eyes lit up and began to bargain. Ding Hao nodded and said, tell me where the reincarnated devil woman is detained in the forces of the guards, and I will spare your life. How do I know if you're going to keep your word? Let me go first. The sixth miss was still bargaining with him. Ding Hao said with a cold smile, I am not that patient. Don't make a mistake. If you talk nonsense again, I will forcibly search your sea of consciousness and turn you into a delirious idiot. Then I will strip you off and throw you on the street. I believe that people will be very interested in the naked body of the daughter of City Lord. Sixth Miss's face instantly turned pale. Realizing that the person in front of her was someone who had ruthlessly slapped beautiful women like her, she immediately recounted everything she knew. Ding Hao had been monitoring the fluctuations of her divine senses with his mind essential. It seemed that the City Lord's daughter was not lying. He slapped her backhand and then flashed out of the cell. As expected, it was already midnight outside. There were only a few stars in the sky. The silver moonlight sprinkled on the ground and scattered down along the leaves of the tree. The shadows danced on the bluestone floor in the wind like ghosts. It was the backyard of the City Lord's mansion, so there were not many people here. Ding Hao was detained and escorted all the way here during the day, so he had already memorized the route. He may get lost in the deep mountains and forests, but in such a mansion, his sense of direction worked well. He walked in the corridor with light footsteps and soon arrived at the front yard. Countless guards and soldiers hopped, as stuff said by him along the way, but strangely, they seemed not to have seen Ding Hao at all in control without any expression. With Ding Hao's current cultivation of divine senses, he could completely isolate other people's vision and perception. For warriors under the martial emperor realm, they could not sense his existence even if they stand face to face. There were nearly no defenses to prevent Ding Hao from entering the City Lord's mansion. Finally, he came to the most magnificent main hall in the mansion. The places near the main hall were all brightly illuminated. Torches and inscriptions were everywhere, illuminating every corner of the hall. There were no other buildings or trees within 50 meters of the main hall. Anyone who approached the main hall in this open area would be discovered immediately. Ding Hao looked at the hall from a distance, and his divine senses were released like tides. According to the sixth miss, this hall was the place where RUN2, the City Lord, lived and worked, and it was the most heavily guarded. In the depths of the hall, there was an entrance to the water dungeon, and the reincarnated devil woman was detained there. It was impregnable because at least hundreds of masters were secretly guarding it. The findings of his divine senses were similar to what the sixth miss had said. Illusionary formations and fatal formations may be hidden under the bluestone ground, and many guards were also hidden in the dark around the hall. Ding Hao calculated that it was about 4 hours left before dawn and went straight to the main hall. An invisible transparent mist surged around him like ripples, enveloping his whole body. His feet were about 2 or 3 inches above the ground. He approached the hall step by step without touching the ground. Ding Hao was a master of inscription. Just now, he had already known the inscription formations around the main hall after a brief observation. As a result, he did not trigger any traps or warning signs along the way. No one could find any trace of him. In this way, Ding Hao approached the hall easily. According to the information provided by the sixth miss, Ding Hao quietly entered the hall like a ghost. He avoided the attention of the guards in the hall and stepped into the depths of the hall. It was the core area of the Mo Yunkong, city lord of the northern land city. Compared to the surroundings heavily guarded, there was no one in the depths of the hall. It seemed that Mo Yunkong had entered the water dungeon to interrogate the devil woman, so no one dared to enter his room. The room was magnificent and luxurious. Ding Hao Baiga, S. said the crystal desk and came to the hanging wall at the back. He slightly twisted the base on it, and the wall opened silently, revealing a gloomy paw, S. sageway behind. Step by step, the stairs led to the depths of the underground. Ding Hao regulated his body to perfect peak conditions and slowly entered the paw, S. sageway. After walking down more than 200 steps, he was more than 40 meters under the ground. Finally, a parallel paw, S. sageway appeared in front of him. He walked more than 20 meters forward, turned left, and made several turns. Buddhist shrines on both sides of the wall had already been opened. There were silver crystals releasing mist, slightly illuminating the paw, S. sageway. After some time that a cup of tea would take, the sounds of water splash, H, I, plus NG could finally be heard. Ding Hao walked forward step by step while he was hiding. All of a sudden, the lights all lit up, and an extremely S, P, A, CS underground hall appeared in front of him. The wall made of white jade was S, H, I, glistening like pure silver in the lights. Hundreds of night pearls were inlaid in the suspended ceiling above his head, lighting up the whole S, P, A, C like daytime. The smell of blood came to Ding Hao, and it covered him in an instant. When Ding Hao looked up, 50 masters of the black armored army were standing orderly. A middle-aged man in a black robe with red hair, a gloomy face, and an aquiline nose was holding 2 knives as delicate and sharp as scalpels in his hands. He was standing in front of a human-shaped torture device. The human-shaped torture device was standing on the ground, and a naked woman was tightly tied to it. She was covered with blood and looked extremely miserable. Her long legs, which should have been slender, had been peeled into pale bones, without even a trace of flesh on them. The flesh on her arms and abdomen were cut off as well. It was a creepy scene as if part of the person's body had been wrapped onto a dry skeleton. It was extremely gloomy and weird. Ordinary people would almost throw up the overnight meal in their stomach when they saw it. Supreme Emperor of Swords Chapter 853 Another Old Friend Online, bestplayable.com. Chapter 853 Another Old Friend. You're here. I've been waiting for you for a long time. The man with red hair and a hooked nose glanced at Ding Hao. He didn't show a slice of surprise at all but turned around and gently used a knife to cut off a piece of flesh from a woman in a torture device. His movements were extremely soft and slow. It looked as if he were carving a work of art. It was also this kind of movement that undoubtedly maximized the torture to the extreme. But to Ding Hao's surprise, the female body on the torture device only trembled slightly and did not whine at all. Ding Hao could clearly feel that the woman was not dead nor unconscious, but she, like a stone statue who didn't have a sense of pain, had incredible endurance. What confused Ding Hao more was that he clearly felt a trace of a familiar aura from this woman. Are you Mo Yunkong, the city lord? Ding Hao dispersed the silver ripples around him and approached the man step by step without any panic. The middle-aged man with red hair and a hooked nose made a sound of surprise and finally began to take Ding Hao seriously. After a while, he said, "Yes, I'm the city lord of Northern Land City. Haha, you're very calm and cautious, and what I didn't expect the most was that you were so young. Unfortunately, as soon as you entered the jail, you were already under my watch." Ding Hao replied indifferently, "Oh, really? If I had known this earlier, I would have simply come indirectly." "You don't seem to be afraid at all," said Mo Yunkong. Ding Hao smiled and asked, "Have you ever seen a tiger afraid of a hyena?" A trace of murder instantly appeared in Mo Yunkong's eyes. His hooked nose twitched, and a cold smile appeared on his face. As the saying goes, the younger generation will circa S the old. Even coming here, you dare to be so arrogant. There's a path to heaven for you, but you don't choose. There's no way to H-E-L-L for you, but you come. An idea flashed through Ding Hao's mind, and he couldn't help laughing. H-E-L-L. Do you know what the real H-E-L-L looks like? Have you ever been to H-E-L-L? Mo Yunkong was stunned as he didn't figure out why Ding Hao would suddenly ask this. However, he soon felt strong disdain in Ding Hao's words. Kill him. Mo Yunkong waved his hand slightly. The 50 black armored army soldiers in the water dungeon were all elites who survived on the battlefield of life and death. Their individual strength was at the peak of the martial emperor realm, and they were also good at joint attack formation. In Mo's opinion, Ding Hao would definitely die. Mo Yunkong turned around, picked up the sharp knife again, and began to cut the evil woman's body. He whispered, "I know that you are in pain and that you have great endurance, but how about this pain lasting for a whole night? Is it very painful to see your body being cut into pieces again and again? Tell me the secret of your recovery and where you came from. I will give you a quick death to release from the pain. Otherwise, when the immortal general of the GO, D's palace arrives tomorrow and brings you to the headquarters of the GO, D's palace, there will be more painful punishments for you there." The devil woman on the torture device did not say a word. More than 50 soldiers of the black armored army slowly approached Ding Hao. Even lions would fight against rabbits with all their strength. These masters weren't careless at all. They stood orderly, carrying out clearly some kind of formation which rolled over like an ancient mountain. It was terrifying and formidable. However, Ding Hao's attention was drawn by the devil woman on the torture device. Her thick long black hair cascaded down like a waterfall, covering her face. But through the hair, Ding Hao could see a pair of bright eyes which was so familiar. Ding Hao felt that he had seen these eyes before. The woman seemingly felt Ding Hao's gaze, raising her head which had been hanging down. The moment she saw Ding Hao, her broken body shook slightly. Amitabha. A faint Buddhist chant was heard. Suddenly, Ding Hao was astonished like being struck by thunder and couldn't believe what he saw. He suddenly recognized this devil woman. But that should be impossible. Why was she here? At the same time, a fit of uncontrollable anger and killing intent burned fiercely in Ding Hao's chest. Seeing his old friend suffer such terrible torture, Ding Hao felt that the burning killing intent brought by the devil saber that he had been carefully suppressing began to stir again. Kill. The masters of the black armored army attacked in unison. Ding Hao flashed and directly punched a master of the black armored army in front of him away. The next moment, the red flame flickered in the hall, and 100 metal puppets appeared out of thin air and surrounded all the masters of the black armored army. The violent metal body and hard waving spears instantly overwhelmed the masters of the black armored army. It was the heaven exterminating flame army. Ding Hao summoned this metal death army immediately. The heaven exterminating flame army, be it the individual combat capability or tactical deployment, was far better than the black armored army. Ding Hao, like lightning, got close to Mo Yunkong. Mo Yunkong's expression changed as he hadn't expected such a scene. As soon as he retreated, he raised his hands and a small silver knife turned into a hidden weapon shooting out. Ding Hao flicked his finger. Ding ding. The sharp knife was directly turned into silver powder. Swoosh, 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 H, plus. Several sword intent and sword chi shot out violently, surrounding Mo Yunkong. "Who are you exactly?" shouted Mo Yunkong. With a tug of his hands, a silver spear appeared in his hand, and then he waved it slightly. The spear transformed into millions of spear flowers which bloomed like pear blossom. His strength, which was at the peak of martial Grand Emperor, was also extraordinary. At first, Mo Yunkang thought Ding Hao's cultivation was only at the 800 martial Emperor realm instead of the martial Grand Emperor realm, so he didn't care about him at all. Unexpectedly, after fighting against Ding Hao, he found that the young man's combat capability was strong and rare, and this young man's chi cultivation was far better than his own. I am the one who will kill you. Ding Hao was burning with killing intent. With a change of his thought, the sword light flickered. The aura, sometimes like the hot summer, sometimes the frozen winter, sometimes cool autumn, and sometimes cold spring, changed quickly. The sword intent and sword chi whistled in the air and completely locked onto Mo Yunkang. Meanwhile, he pulled out his left hand and flicked. Several flashes of broadsword silently shot out, shattering all the restrictions on the body of the devil woman. Amitabha, the devil woman calmly chanted the Buddhist. In the next moment, a dot of Buddha light flashed between her eyebrows, and then a powerful Buddhist power surged in her broken body, and the golden light spread along her white bones whose flesh was removed. The entire hall was full of the benevolence and holiness of Buddhism, and the faint sounds of Buddhist Sanskrit scriptures echoed. She was recovering rapidly. On the other side, the 50 black armored army soldiers had all been knocked to the ground and had lost their ability to resist. Ding Hao did not order the heaven exterminating flame army to kill all the black armored army. After all, they were just subordinate. He did not know if there were the demon clan in the world. If more than 50 warriors at the peak of the martial emperor realm were killed, it would be a great loss for the human clan. However, Ding Hao wouldn't be merciful to Mo Yunkang. With Ding Hao's current combat capability, even without using the devil saber or the rusted sword, he was unrivaled under the sage realm. How could Mo Yunkang beat him? As the saying goes, one slip would cost the game. Now this was what Mo Yunkang was experiencing. He wanted to send out the warning message in the water dungeon to seek help from the guards on the ground, but he was surprised to find that the alarm inscription formation in the water dungeon was useless now and could not send any news to the outside world at all. How could this be? Mo Yunkang's heart sunk. He felt that he got enmeshed in a web of his own spinning. Ding Hao sneered. Along the way, no inscription formation could escape his divine senses, not to mention the simple formation set up in the water dungeon. He could change them with just a thought. Swoosh, 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 H, plus. The sword chi was everywhere, so does the sword intent. Ah. Mo Yunkang roared with his legs shot, falling into a pool of blood. Ding Hao stopped. Amitabha. The Buddha light surrounding the evil woman gradually faded, turning into a golden robe with patterns and covering her crystal and beautiful body. The wounds on her body had been completely healed, and her long black hair fluttered, revealing a very beautiful face. Come on. Ding Hao pointed to Mo Yunkang, who was lying on the ground with fear on his face. The leader of the Northern Land City frantically urged his chi to heal his wounds. However, he found in despair that there was a strange power of sword intent around his wounds which could not be expelled at all. Amitabha, Amitabha, the woman chanted with a pair of beautiful eyes as pure as the spring in the mountains. You can't kill me. I'm appointed as the city lord by the G.O.D's palace. Mo Yunkang, terrified and roaring madly, was no longer cruel and calm like before. Buddha says, you need to eliminate your sins, lay down the butcher's knife, and become a good person. The woman stared at Mo Yunkang with her clear and merciful eyes. Mo Yunkang, who was struggling desperately, calmed down gradually. At first, his eyes were full of confusion. Then, a trace of resistance and struggle flashed in his eyes, but soon he seemingly gave up and instead his eyes were full of regret. He turned over, knelt on the ground, and cried bitterly, my sin is deep and unforgivable. I am so regretful that I have done so many evil things. My hands are stained with blood. I should go to the 18th level of H.E.L.L. He was weeping bitterly, and he didn't pretend to do that but repented from the bottom of his heart. Ding Hao looked at the woman beside him in surprise. How terrifying the spiritual attack skill is. It could actually disintegrate a person's will and soul. I deserve millions of deaths. Mo Yunkang suddenly jumped up and slapped himself on the head like sauce. H.I. plus NG watermelon, and then his brains burst out. He fell down and died. Ding Hao was shocked. He suddenly realized that since this woman had such profound cultivation and divine ability, then why hadn't she used them earlier but allowed Mo Yunkang to torture her for so many days? Could it be that she's been waiting for something all along? Supreme Emperor of Swords Chapter 854 Land of Divine Grace Online, bestreadable.com. Chapter 854 Land of Divine Grace. Amitabha, senior brother Ding, long time no see. The woman greeted Ding Hao with one hand. Ding Hao also sighed emotionally and said, Junior sister Tingchen, it has been a long time since we met in the snow province last time. Legend has it that you also got involved in the sage battlefield. Later, your teacher also inquired about you from various parties, but he never got any information. I thought you died in the sage battlefield, but I didn't expect that you would come to this world. It's really surprising. That's right. The beautiful and gentle woman with black hair in front of him was Lei Tingchen, the missing disciple of the Zero Thought sect. Ding Hao had never expected that Lei Tingchen would be in this world.